Welcome back to our series of videos, Do You Know What to Do? Do you feel uncomfortable in your dining seats? If so, in this episode, we're going to show you how to make simple repairs to your dining seats. They're going to be safer, they're going to be more comfortable, and they're going to last for years. So let's get started. So what's the telltale signs that you need your dining seats repaired? Well, maybe you have excess movement in the back, possibly in the arms if your dining seats have them, or maybe the legs are shifting left and right, or just a lot of creaking taking place. Or maybe your chair looks like this. So why does this happen? Well, simply because of temperature change and humidity fluctuation. The wood expands, screws loosen over time, and glue, it's not permanent. So it's time for a tune-up. Now before you move on, examine your dining seats for any cracked or split rails and look for missing corner blocks or support blocks. This chair over here is missing its blocks. This is an actual client of mine out of Kent Mill, Maryland, and for some reason her blocks are not here in the corner, so I did make some. And you can make some yourself, or you can actually buy them online. I'll give you a website. Now, if you have cracked or split dowels, they're usually in pairs. If one of them is cracked or both of them is cracked when you're examining your dining seats, you might need to take it to a repair shop. These dowels are set into the factory. There's holes that are drilled into the leg, the rails, and they hold them together. They glue them in there, and they make it all unison, one strong piece. So if they crack or split, they're going to have to be drilled out and replaced. So if you're up for it, that's great, but we're not showing you that in this episode. That'll be a future video. This is just simple repairs to dining seats. Now the tools to get started, you're going to need a rubber mallet, and if you don't have a rubber mallet and a regular hammer, get a soft piece of wood. You're going to need some glue, a glue dispenser. You're going to need a screwdriver, and you can use a cordless, of course. You're going to need a damp cloth and a clamp. Okay, so to get started, simply put it on its back. You're going to look for where the seat is attached to the chair. Usually it's in the corner blocks here with screws, and this particular one is anchored in the center. We've already taken one of the screws out, so I'm just going to take the second one out. And knock this out. Now I want to show you this. This style here is what we call a drop-in. It's sitting inside the frame. Most of them sit on top, but a good portion of them drop in. These are the older styles. So then now I took the screw out, just pop that out like that. Now simply use your mallet and tap on the chair to loosen the connections or the joints. And you want it to reveal the dowels as much as possible. So we're going to get some glue to go down in there. Now incidentally, if you're using a regular hammer, you're definitely going to want to get a soft piece of wood and hold this against the chair so there's no damage to your fine wood. Maybe tie it down so it stays in place, because you want to hold onto the rail at the same time you're hammering against the chair, so it loosens the joint and you can get the glue to go down in there. So I have this one open. I see that it is loose here as well, so I'm going to use my rubber mallet and tap right here. Now look at the size of that gap there. So you see, over time, the glue's given way because it wouldn't give that easily if the glue was still holding. So we're going to put some glue here, glue where I opened the other side of the joint, and we're going to put some clamps on there. So this is the glue dispenser that I was telling you about earlier. I filled it up with glue, and you can see it can reach in very small, tight places. So I'm going to squeeze some glue down in here, right up against the dowels. And the other side as well. I can actually get it where the dowel was in to the back rail with this dispenser. I'm putting some on the dowels themselves and on both sides of the rails. Trying to get the other rail now. Okay, now we're going to tap this back. Just like that. To the other side, and I see the glue running down. That's why you have to have a damp cloth. You do not want this to dry. So when we put the clamps on, I need you to come back and keep an eye on it and look at it every few minutes until all the excess glue has been wiped off by you with a damp cloth. Now that we have all our clamps on, we're going to let this cure for 30 minutes. And incidentally, do not use this chair until it cures for 24 hours. But now we're going to let this cure, then we're going to put on our corner blocks, which is what I made earlier. Okay, here we are again. We let the glue cure for a couple of days. And this is going to show the true strength of your dining seats when you're finished. So what we're going to do now is put in the last corner block, the wooden corner block that I made for this chair. This chair didn't have any. I've done some pre-drilling for the screws as well. And when you pre-drill for any woodwork or blocks, if you need to put some in for yours, since you don't already have the screw holes there, get a bit that's not too big for the screw you're going to use. And you can tell by holding the bit up in front of the screw, and you can still see the threads. So this is a good bit to use to pre-drill into the rails. And that's what I've already done. Now you can use these metal angle brackets if you like, but they don't work quite as well. So we strongly recommend using wooden ones, and you can buy them, and the websites are in the description of this video. So let's install the last wooden block. Put some glue on there. I can see that this chair had them at one time, but I think they were just lightly glued because I see where it was at one time. The block that is I'm talking about. This really locks the chair in and makes it a lot stronger. Okay, now that the last corner block's installed, we're going to install the seat. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up the chair for the client and spray your cleaner directly on the cloth, not onto the furniture. As you can clearly see, this chair is completely different than the way it was before when we started working on it. This person has years of use left in this chair. I know they're going to be very happy with it. So there's ending thoughts we always want to leave you with. One, what kind of glue do we use? We use the Tight Bond original glue. It's excellent. You can also try Gorilla Glue. It's extremely strong. You can get both these glues at any of your hardware stores that you like to use. As well, when you are dismantling your chair with a rubber mallet, look for any hidden screws that might have been put in after the factory so you don't damage your wood and not knowing why it's not coming apart. Because sometimes it'll still creak and be weak, but it's not coming apart. Look for any hidden screws as well. So go to Urban Castle Solutions for any ideas of how you can turn your furniture into your own style. And don't forget to check out our next episode of